Not the result you wanted, obviously, but what can y'all learn from a match like this?
I think we can learn just we need to just execute what we train, track runners, and just make sure we're communicating and doing all of our standards and non-negotiables, and we can learn from it and grow and just come together through this and just get better for Sunday.
You had a positive spell coming out of halftime. It ends up with a goal. What was the message at halftime to try and regroup after that first half?
Just to do our non-negotiables, we need to communicate more and just play hard, go out and be physical. So we just came out like that, and I think we came out in the second half stronger, and everybody came out ready to go.
I know the results of the last three haven't gone your way. What do y'all do in the locker room just to kind of keep a positive mindset?
We just come together, just be there for each other, lift each other up. It's just a really positive environment, and just make sure that we're being there for each other and being each other's like sisterhood.
Because just ask Kyra, it's a tough result, obviously, but what can you learn from a match like this?
Yeah, listen, Vandy's really, really good. Like, I mean, let's not take anything away from them, right? That's a team, that's a lot of the same players that go last year and beat Florida State. Right, they returned a ton of players, and we thought going in they were playing the best football in the conference and really almost in the country. So credit to them, they were fantastic tonight, and I thought the second half we changed shape, and also we had some good moments. So this is good for us as a young team to play against that caliber, but also know that when we don't do the little things at times, you're going to get punished. So really, really good for us in our process.
It seemed like y'all had similar build-up patterns in the first half, and at times you were able to get the ball forward.
Yeah.
You just weren't able to get shots until the second half. What were the lapses defensively that caused y'all to fall behind?
Yeah, I mean, you look at it, right? I just felt we were a little off tonight, and sometimes that's how it is, right? Our passes weren't as sharp. We had players open and we missed them by a yard or two, and at 2-0 you're down, and then you're in complete possession, and we make a bad decision instead of maybe just playing the simple pass, and then like I said, they'll punish you. So this is like I said, we'll look at the film and have to reflect on it and then flush it, because now we go to a really good Alabama team on Sunday, and then you finish with Georgia. So this I think was the 12th hardest schedule in the country, the last 3 games, and that's that way for a reason.
Of course, when you play on a Thursday night, you don't have just a whole lot of time for Sunday, but you got to get film in and a couple of days of practice, I would guess.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to rest. That was it took a lot out of us. So we'll continue to do what we normally do on a match day +1, and make sure that we're in a position where we're as fresh and recovered as possible, and then look to go and fight on Sunday.
You mentioned changing shape at halftime. What did you say to your team at halftime after
We just said, listen, flush the first half, right? I mean, if we're being honest with ourselves, right, like just the first half is done, right? Flush it. Can we go out? Can we win the second half? And I thought they responded really well to that. That's not easy, right? Going into a locker room when you're 4-0 down, and with such a young team, and really proud of the way that they responded. Showed resilience, because that's a team that it can get away from you really, really fast. And proud of their fight and the way that they competed in the second half, and showed that we can play out of multiple shapes.
And you and the players have talked a lot about the mentality training, as the work that you did in the off season as well as through the first few games of the season. How does that have to come to fruition over the next couple of days?
I mean, again, I think if we're realistic, right, you start 9-1-1, right, and then everyone's like, oh, it's just going to happen again, right? Like this group, we knew we were going to hit adversity, and quite frankly, probably thought it was going to happen a lot sooner than it did. And you're playing against, again, your losses are to a top 10 team in Arkansas on the road, another top 25 team in Vandy. Florida right now was unbeaten in 5 games. So it's not like you're going out and you're losing games to teams that you shouldn't. Obviously, you're playing against really good competition. This is a gauntlet of a conference, and that's why these kids want to come here and play in these big games.